Hi everyone, welcome to this video on setting up Azure Cosmos DB. Setting up Azure Cosmos DB is fairly simple and straightforward. First, once you are in Azure, you have to go into Azure Cosmos DB. Once you are into Azure Cosmos DB, you can use this create option and then you select Azure Cosmos DB for NoSQL. Select select a workload type, either learning, development, production, either one will work. For now, I'll just select learning. My subscription is pay as you go, but yeah, you can even select if you're in free trial, you can also use that as well. So subscription, sorry, resource group, you can select a particular resource group that you want. Account name, set up an account name, for example, I'll set up something like okay. Next, we'll leave everything as default, and then um, we can just hit create and review, and then we'll be able to set up our Azure Cosmos DB instance. Okay, so once we have set up our Azure Cosmos DB instance, you can click on it, and once you are in, so you can use this Data Explorer. Using Data Explorer, you can come in and then create a new container. So either you can go for a new container and create database in one shot, or else you can go ahead using or creating a new database, which I like to do. So I'll create a new database. I'll call it as Data DB Demo V1. Okay. Um, and then I can just go ahead and create a new container. Container V1. Partition key, I know exactly what partition key I'll be using, so I'm using ID as my partition key, but it depends. Like the data that you'll be pushing in, like in that data, what will be your partition key? So you have to take that call and create the partition key. So now I hit OK, and then we can create our our container within the database. Okay, so now a container is ready. So now if you take a look at it, so we have our container. Basically, if I want to query, so I can use regular SQL queries to query. So like select star from C represent the container. So what I have is container V1, and we can execute this. So if I execute, so I don't have any records in, or I don't have any items in my container, right? So that's why I'm getting a null. So now if I want to push records, I can also push that. So to do that, basically I'll go to Databricks. I mean, there are also other options of doing it. Like for example, if I go to my container, okay. Uh, with After going into my container, if I click on items, I have an option of uploading items. So if I use upload, then if I'm having a JSON file, I can directly upload the JSON file into my containers. That's one way of doing it. There are also other ways. Let me show you. So I'll use Azure Data Factory. So this is where once I'm into Azure Data Factory, I can go to author. I can create a pipeline. So I'll create a new pipeline. Okay, so I'll keep it fairly simple. There are some upcoming video video tutorials where I'll keep it or I'll make it more complex using data flows. But yeah, for now we can keep it as simple as possible. So what I'll do, I'll just create or I'll take a copy data activity, and using copy data activity, I'll move some of the records into my Cosmos DB. So in copy data activity, basically I'll select source and sink. So my source will be SQL Server, Azure Blob Storage, and my sink will be the Cosmos DB container that I have just created. Okay. Now, first, I'll select the copy data activity. I'll go to source. I'll create new. Then I'll search for blob, Azure Blob Storage. I'll hit continue, and then I'll use delimited text. I'll hit continue, and then I can leave it. I can leave it live with the name that I have, or else I'll give something very meaningful. I'll call it as blob storage. Blob storage source, and in the link service I'll create a new link service. Basically this is how I can select. We'll use pay as you go. Storage account name, I can select something like this. Mm, Okay, I'll use this storage accounts to, I already have a file in one of my storage accounts. So select that particular storage account, and then I'll hit create. So after doing that, basically I've create a link to my storage account. Now I'll select the file in that particular storage account. So now in that storage account, I have container one and container two. So I'll hit container one. So basically I'll use this orders.csv file. So I select that and I hit OK. Okay. Now I hit OK again. So this is how basically I can set up my source. Now, if I want to set up my sink again, so I have to create new. My sink will be Azure Cosmos DB. So I can select this Azure Cosmos DB. I hit continue. Okay. So I'll provide it with the meaningful name. For now, the name is okay. So Azure Cosmos DB NoSQL Container 3. I can provide something meaningful. I'll call it as sync. Okay. Now in the link service, I can create a new link service. I'll target or I'll set up the link service to the container that I've created. So I'll use Azure subscription. I'll go to the test DDV1, and then database name. I'll select the database that I want, and that's it. So now I'll hit create. Okay. Now after creating it, since I have only one container, so basically I'll use that particular container. Okay. So now I have container V1. So I've selected that container, and then I'll hit OK. Okay, so now we have created our source, our sink. Now let's go to the mapping tab. In the mapping tab, we'll just go ahead and import schemas. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and select the columns. We'll map it. So our source is ID. In the in the destination, we'll create another column ID. Then we'll keep adding columns. So for our source order date, data type will select as date, and I will name my target column order date. Then I select ship mode, the string, ship mode, and then I'll select customer ID. I'll call it as customer score ID, and then I'll select sales, and sales I want to keep it as double. So I'll select sales. Okay, so this is now my mapping. That's it. So basically once I'm done, I can publish. Okay, everything looks good. So I just go ahead and publish. Okay, so I have published it. Then I can go ahead for validation. I mean, I could have validated before, but yes, I know like there are no issues. But yeah, just for the formality, I'm just validating. So your pipeline has been validated. So that's the message I get. So now I'm good. Next, I'll just collapse this one. And next, I will just go ahead and run it. So I can add a trigger, like I can edit and add a trigger, but I just want it, this is a one-time run. So I'll just go ahead and use this trigger now option. So if I'm hitting trigger now, so it will just run it immediately. So if I hit OK, so now basically my pipeline has started running. Okay. Now, if I go back to my monitor option, okay, so I can see my latest pipeline has started running. Okay, so this is the time when it has started. So I'm looking at in terms of how much time it will take, and then I'll have to wait for some time for this trigger to be completed. Okay, so now I have completed my, let me just refresh and see if my my run is complete. Yes. So my pipeline has run successfully. So as you can see, it has succeeded. So now let's go back and look at my data. So now if I go ahead and look at the items, go to container, I expand it again. It's loading. I refresh it. Okay, so now I see all the items have been populated. Okay, so now if I just want to query, it's fairly simple. So I can just go ahead and add a new query. Okay, select star from C. If I execute, I'll get the query. So now if I want to see the number of records, I can do count one and I execute the query. I'll see like there are 5,001 records. Now, apart from running like select count star from C, we can also run select container P1. Okay, so we'll get the same records. Okay, so C is like an alias name for container. So basically, in whichever tab I'm available, if you can see here, if it is under a certain container, the query, so it will run. So, but if I want to run it from a different container, I can also do that. So I have to just specify the name of the container. Okay. So that's it. This is a very brief or a very simple example of how to get started with Azure Cosmos DB. Please like and subscribe so that we can it can encourage us to create more videos. Thank you.